Fantastic. Welcome, dear friends. Great to be with you. It's been a few months for me, so I'm really happy to be back here and filling in for dear Farouz tonight. And very inspired by this particular topic, so excited to be able to MC tonight. Um, I would love to begin with a prayer, and in particular, a prayer for the departed. Really, of course, thinking about our friends and family for many of you in Iran and the terrible atrocities that are going on. So I'll say a prayer for the departed to get us started. O my God, verily thy servant, humble before the majesty of thy divine supremacy, lowly at the door of thy oneness, hath believed in thee and in thy verses, hath testified to thy word, hath been enkindled with the fire of thy love, hath been immersed in the depths of the ocean of thy knowledge, hath been attracted by thy breezes, hath relied upon thee, hath turned his face to thee, hath offered his supplications to thee, and hath been assured of thy pardon and forgiveness. He hath abandoned this mortal life and hath flown to the kingdom of immortality, yearning for the favor of meeting thee. O Lord, glorify his station, shelter him under the pavilion of thy supreme mercy. Cause him to enter thy glorious paradise and perpetuate his existence in thine exalted rose garden, that he may plunge into the sea of light in the world of mysteries. Verily, thou art the generous, the powerful, the forgiver, the bestower. Welcome again, everyone. For those who are new, or maybe just as a reminder, we are recording this evening, and the format is a presentation. And this evening we are blessed to have Sima Ghodrati with us. And then it's always open for questions and comments at the end, and we really invite participation. So by way of introduction, Sima, I'm going to read your bio. It was in the email, but I'd like to read it. Born in Iran, Sima Ghodrati fled her home in 1986 as a refugee to escape religious persecution after joining the Baha'i faith. Following her arrival in Canada, she pursued a multifaceted education spanning fashion design, psychology, and dental hygiene. Her lifelong passion for humanity eventually led her to study mindfulness and life coaching at the University of Toronto, where she specialized in the inner peace therapy technique. Currently, she practices as a life coach dedicated to guiding individuals through personal transformation by blending clinical knowledge with spiritual mindfulness. Her work is deeply rooted in the philosophy that through the power of love and a commitment to learning, no obstacle to growth is insurmountable. Sima, thank you very much for joining us. I'm very excited for this topic and your presentation, so I will turn it over to you. Oh, I have to ask you to unmute. Sorry.
Thanks for having me. This is wonderful. Just before I start, I just want to make sure that clear something that the inner peace that I have specialized is actually it's founded in Norway and by the gentleman named as Kehan Iranian. So I was very blessed and lucky to attend some of his seminars and work with him for 5, 6 years, traveling and organizing a lot of courses and seminars. But the mindfulness and coaching was from the University of Toronto. And saying that, thank you for having me. And I just want to start my presentation with sharing some slides. But, excuse me, sorry. I'm just going to go right here. Okay. All right. Perfect. So we're going to go to the first one and we're going to go right here. So everyone can see this?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, wonderful. Okay.
Although we
So
see, sorry, Sima, we do see a rectangle that's blocking part of the image. Yeah,
I think that's the because I'm sharing. How do I take this away? Oh, it's gone now. Is it gone?
it's more gone. It's just a crack of it, but it's much better. Yeah, I
Much
mean, that's
better.
fine.
Okay. So this is the first. As you can see in this image, in this slide, I have put three circles as three different worlds. And this is just the way I did this is just I wanted to show each one of them independently, but it's we need to understand that all these three of these worlds are one world. So for us to understand them separately, it helps us to go forward. So the first one, as you can see here on the left side, the external world, we want to take a look at this world as in how life is seen, felt, touched, smelled, and heard by a child. So when the child comes to this world, doesn't have any cognitive ability to understand the world. And Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, explains this in a beautiful sentence. It says, "The world is but a show, vain and empty, a mere nothing, bearing the semblance of reality. Set not your affections upon it." So we want to know what it means. If you take a look at here, the word show, I highlighted, I bolded it. We want to know from our our human perspective, what does this show means anyway? For me, for Sima, I keep looking at the world. I said, okay, Mrs. James goes to work and she's been told today she's going to act as Mrs. Jackson. Tomorrow she's going to be Mrs. Thomas. Next day she's going to be Mrs. Robinson. But every day she goes to work and acts. When she comes home, she will be herself. So every day she has to go back to who she is. But what happens to humanity is when we enter this show, we don't go back to who we are. We get stuck in a character that is built with this world. And how would that happen? Now we're going to go over that, friends. So we know the characteristic of this world. This world is temporary, constantly changing, and is material, empty, and is tangible. We have to touch it, but we have to see it. So let's see in the next slide. So science tells us about the external senses, right? Abdul Baha, the son of Baha'u'llah, which is he's also interpreter of the writings of the Baha'i faith. He tells us about these senses. He said we have the five external senses. By these external senses, the child comes to this world. It can see, smell, touch, taste, and hear. None of these senses, friends, tells the child a lie. It's actually, they are truthful to what she sees, what she hears, what she touches, what she smells. Everything she experienced through her external senses is absolutely true. Now, what happens when this information comes in? So she sees a mother and she sees a father, she sees their environment. They are supposed to, this in external world, which Baha'u'llah said is a show, they have to play good roles. They have to give her the safety and love so she can grow and become who she is, right? So she can develop her inner senses and connect to her true reality. But what happens when this doesn't happen? When she actually looks outside and instead of being in a very safe environment, so her nervous system makes sure that she's calm and she's having all those beautiful hormones like serotonin, oxytocin, which those are the tools that she will use later on in her life to get to her heart. But she sees agony, she sees distress, she sees fight, she hears these noises, she encounters these things that it's not the interpretation of when the inner senses wanted to interpret it. So the common faculty hears the voice. I should actually go over these five internal senses now. So Abdul Baha tells us we also have five inner senses. The first, I think, is the first one, but you can look it up yourself. I think the common faculty, from my perspective, is the first one because it's an interpreter. It's what we see. It works between outside and inside. It brings the information, interprets the information from the external world, and bring it to the inner world. So when common faculty does its job, and when my senses hear something very loud and scary, common faculty brings it in. Now the next step is the next inner senses is our thoughts, right? Or could be imagination. Again, it's up to you, but I think Abdul Baha talks about a thought and then we imagine it. Or let's say when this with information comes in, let's say I imagine the sound because I see my father, right? I see the picture of my father and I imagine him right away in my head. And then there's a thought comes, that this thought tells me he's so scary. And as soon as that thought comes, the comprehension has to comprehend this information and send it to the long-term memory. But friends, the 2 years old or a 3 year old or a 5 year old or sometimes even 10 year old, they don't have that cognitive ability. They can't comprehend. The only way children can connect to the outside world, to the environment, is through their senses. What senses we're talking about? The senses that is being awakened through the mid part of the brain. I'm not going to get to the neuroscience because it will overwhelm you and it's a lot of information. But I'm just going to quickly touch up on that. If we look at the brain at three parts, the first part, which is the stem part, which is it's automatic, happens automatically, like breathing, like everything, our heartbeats. These are the things automatic. And the second part of the brain, which is the midbrain, it which is the amygdala, works very well as soon as the thought comes. The thought comes that scary thought comes that what she sees or what she hears, it awakens anger, awakens fear, awakens anxiety. So because she doesn't understand it, fam, because she's so young and can't understand it, can't comprehend it, this is what we call short-term memory. So short-term memory is when the child cannot think about what's happening outside world, cannot imagine it, cannot comprehend it. Those pictures, those memories will get stuck right here. But the long-term memory, which we can call it iCloud or soul, it's the one that it belongs to the next world. It's not for this world. But the short-term memory, friends, is for this world. Now, let's go back when the mother was pregnant and she's carrying this beautiful child. So remember, Baha'u'llah says the world is a show. So she sees outside. Would the environment provide the means for her? Would this environment that she lives in will actually make sure this mother is safe and being loved, being protected? Because what is she carrying? She's carrying the next generation. She's carrying the life within that it's going to bring into this world, and she has this holy things within her womb. But the physical world does not provide that for a pregnant woman. And the pregnant woman, that's this beautiful mother, sees things from the external world and bring that information in. And this child gets stuck in that vicious cycle, and she gets around 10 years old or 11 years old. Let's call them a teenage years. I'll come back to this slide once again. So now, so the first world that we talked about, we said it was a show. Nothing was the external world was real. We talked about everything we see, it will just temporary, and it just it doesn't last, and it's constantly changing. Now, something that's not real, something's constantly changing, something which was supposed to give me safety and love, it's not even practicing that. So all this information comes within the brain of the child. And this child now, because it's keep repeating and repeating and repeating, this child gets stuck in the prison of self. Because now there is a, I'm just going to go to the next slide. Let me see if it's the next slide. No, sorry. Let's go back. So the child has fear, anxiety, and all these things, and everything happens within this part of the mind. So my external world, which is the show, comes in, and there is another show happening within my mind. So now this is why I call this world, it's a virtual world, because this one, it can be scarier than the actual external world. Why? Because this is mind made. This is made by amygdala, by my nervous system, which nervous system I had to survive this world. So I left my true self. There is a separation happening between me and my true self. I no longer can become who I was born. Now I'm stuck in that those feelings that are constantly repeating in my brain. And what is that those feelings are? Remember we talked about amygdala? Amygdala has to make up a story, has to come up with something for this child to survive. So this is why I call it virtual, because it's a copy of the show. Now, this is where the fragmentation happens, friends. This is why you see people that they don't know what to do with their fear, their anger, their shame, their guilt. They see people as others and us and them, because now this child, it's been fragmented, it's been divided within her mind, and she has to make sense. She has to there has to be stories. It has to give her identity, because if she doesn't have identity, she can't survive. So she needs to have identity. She needs to, and all those things are fake personality. None of these personality that is being made is true. And based on what, friends? Based on just three characteristics that the mind makes up for her. Either she becomes a villain, or a victim, or a hero. It won't be away from any of these. This is the truth that the mind will make up for the child. And that's why we can't see ourselves as one humanity, because now it's subjective to what she feels, not what the truth about her. So now this is what I was going to come to is, so when this separation occurs, when we lose the true meaning of the world of creation, friends, everything it was meant to be experienced as a reflection of the creator becomes a destination, a goal, a desire. This separation is the separation of the mind and the heart. And friends, what is the mind without the heart? Isn't that the AI everyone's so scared of today? We're all scared of this. Everyone talks about it. We're a bunch of AIs, walking around, not knowing who we are. Didn't Baha'u'llah says, noble have I created thee? Yet thou hast abased thyself, rise to unto that word which thou was created. So this is where we need to reflect and see what is he talking about? What happened in my childhood? And most of the time, friends, stress is the result of this fragmentation, this separation. The wounded inner child silenced by a harsh inner parent. When I say inner parent, I'm not talking about the external parent. I'm talking about the one is telling that mind, that the nervous system is made up the story for her, that you're this, you're that. So therefore, in order for you to survive, you need to keep quiet. You need to suppress all your feelings. Now, this is also beginning of most of psychologists, psychotherapists, and psychiatrists, they call it ego. But what I see through what I've learned from inner peace, so the child did not understand her thoughts and could not imagine what's happening to her. And she pressed all the feelings she had. She had feelings like anger, fear, sadness. All those feelings were awakening, but she didn't understand them. So there will be a battle between her thoughts and her feelings. And the result is the identity or the personality is made up by the mind. And that's why you see today we can call that the ego. So when there is a battle, when there is an interaction between these two, what do you see outside? We can call it the ego. Now, while children are nurtured with love, safety, truth, and purpose, their identity and understanding grow together. They grow, develop, and appear in the utmost beauty, becoming authentic individuals. Take a look at the left side. You see this beautiful farmer? So look at this apple seed. What is the condition for the apple seed to become a beautiful tree and gives fruits to the whole world? We need a beautiful sunlight that gives life to this tree. We need air, we need water, we need nourishing soil, and a kind, loving farmer. So what would the child need in this world? This beautiful child needs the sun. We can all agree the sun is the new spiritual teachings of the day. And the soil, what would be the soil for this child? Wouldn't be that a supporting community that makes sure that it supports her and love her and watch for her and help her to become who she is? And wouldn't that air, which is so necessary, like she would die if she doesn't have that, as the safety that she has within the environment? And the rain would be that love that she will be showered upon by the community, by the society, by the immediate family. When she has this, when this is a beautiful condition, all these things are there for this child, she will grow and develop and appear in the utmost beauty. But friends, if one is missing, it will be a very hard journey. So I told you I'm going to come back here to this next slide. So, excuse me. You want to know, I'm sorry. Sorry. My glass of water here. Now, I'm sure you have came across a lot of youth or maybe elder people or people who don't know the purpose of life. They're stuck in that one of those world that we talked about. Either they're in the external world trying to find the truth by traveling the world, by going over the mountain or swimming in the deepest ocean, or somehow they're looking for the truth. But they don't know that the truth is closer to themselves than their own vein. So uh, let's review something here. There's nothing about humanity is bad, friend. None of those feelings that I just talked about, fear, guilt, shame, all these things are bad. These are beautiful. Because if I don't have these feelings, how could I bring myself to account each day? I need to have shame and guilt. So if I'm doing something wrong, the guilt will wake up, the shame will wake up. Oh, Sima, you should not have done that. That's beautiful. So, but because those feelings are being suppressed as a child, when we are in like around 15, 16 years old age, when we're around that, all these youth become rebellious. Why? Because they want to find out about those feelings. that is being suppressed by their nervous system because they had to survive in this world, friends. So the depression starts from the youth, from that age, and that's the beginning of a spirituality. This is proven by science today, friends. You can look it up. There's a lot of scientists are talking about that. My favorite one is Dr. Lisa Miller. But they talk about this. They say when the youth start being rebellious, want to, even they say things loud and they don't want to follow what their parents says, because you don't want a child who obeys. Obedience to, it's not good, friends. Obedience, it's a part of the brain. That amygdala wants to obey things, so it wants to keep things quiet, wants to suppress fear. Obedience becomes good when I find my true self and I find the sun, and I will become the ray of the sun, but not before that. Now, if they're 15, 16 years old and they're asking a lot of questions, and they need to be guided to go to their inner world. If they have a beautiful community, beautiful environment that brings them to these beautiful circles and say, come here, honey, you can be so yourself. You can find yourself within the circles. In that depression, little by little, will vanish and the light will ignite, because now they can find themselves through those elevated conversation. Now we go to the next one. So now Baha'u'llah says, so powerful is the light of unity that can illuminate the whole world. What is this unity? Do you see unity outside world? We can't. If we want to see a oneness of humanity, we must first become one within ourselves, friends. Our thoughts and our feelings, which they were in battle, they have to become one. They have to start that beautiful dance. Oh, sorry, this one. I will go back to the other one. So if if there is a beautiful relationship between my thoughts and my feelings, when these two become friends, when I learn to love my fear, when I learn to love my guilt, to love my shame, to love all those feelings, I don't have to suppress them. And then there is a beautiful peace within my inner world. When that happens, when I realize that there is nothing bad about me, what do? I enter this world, friends. In this world, truth is not loud. It is the light. It's luminous. Vision is not physical. It is insight. Hearing is not sound. It is guidance. Touch is not skin. It is connection. Taste is not flavor. It is meaning. And fragrance is not smell. It is virtue. So in this world, this is where we are united. This is where we can see the oneness. When we are here, when my thoughts and my feelings become one, when I don't have to be a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and only survive in this world, I can be a 15-year-old, start having all those thoughts, angry thoughts, depressed thoughts, frightening thoughts. But when I have these thoughts, where do I go? If I don't have a perfect community to help me to find answers, where do I go? We need the community. We need friends. We need our environment to guide that youth to go to the within the to go to his inner world. And where can he find that? Through devotional, through Ruhi circles, through children classes, through all these beautiful junior youth groups, and even very small elevated conversation to guide that youth to go to the inner world. What is Baha'u'llah said in a hidden word number 13? He says, O son of spirit, I created thee rich. Why dost thou bring thyself down to poverty? Richness is here, friends. Nobility is within my own heart. I made of the clay of love. And then he says at the end of that beautiful hidden word, he says, turn thy sight unto thyself, that thou mayest find me standing within thee, mighty, powerful, and self-subsisting. If I don't find my true self within my own heart, I cannot get connected to anyone else, friends. I mean, we will get connected, but the connection would be a show. It would not be the true connection. And this is where I'm going to stop. For me, is when I think of the truth, actually, I'm going to share one of you see, the foundation of all prophets is truth, and truth is one. Abraham was the herald of truth. Moses was the servant of truth. Christ was the establisher of truth. Muhammad was the promoter of truth. The Bab was the forerunner of the truth. And Baha'u'llah is the light of truth. Thank you, friends, for having me. And if there's any question, I'll be very happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Sima. That was quite a beautiful journey. And I love the slides. I love the slides. I'm so used to just the corporate look and feel. So it was refreshing, very refreshing. So friends, please, if you have questions or comments, you could either put them in the chat, which I will read, or feel free to raise your hand and ask dear Sima any questions you might have. I don't know if I can start. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Luann. Go ahead, Luann.
She's muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I have an interpreter here. She's going to sign. I missed some of the things at the beginning because the closed caption wasn't correct. I have a question. Did you say that everything developed in utero when the mom is pregnant, and that's how they develop the child, develop all the external world when the mom is pregnant?
Sorry, can you, if you don't mind, can someone repeat the question because I can't hear it properly? Can Brad, can you repeat the question again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, Luann. Let's
go ahead.
one more time.
I tried to, yeah. Go ahead.
That's better.
Okay, I missed what you were saying with closed caption. Now I have an ASL interpreter signing for me. I wanted to verify at the beginning when you started talking, you talked about the pregnant mom. Mm-hmm. Did you say that the child developed the external world when she's pregnant? When after birth? I got confused there.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, when the mother is pregnant, so if the environment provides all those conditions for her, a beautiful community, beautiful environment that gives, allow that woman to be who she is and protect that child and provide safety and love, and this child comes to this world and also experiencing safety and love, she will become who she is. But unfortunately, we're not experiencing that at all. We have pregnant women who have to work 20, 30, 40, 60 hours a week to provide means for their family, for themselves. We don't have a community that supports the mother. And so all the information that comes within the mind of the mother, it creates a second world for her, like her virtual mind, the mind over here. She's no longer connected to her spiritual who she is. So now she's only focusing on an external world to do the things that, which is Baha'u'llah says it's a show, because she needs the support. Is all connected, right? All these three worlds are one world. But when we look at it individually, we see where the issues are coming from. We see if the child, if the humanity, if the individual is stuck in external world, or if the teenager is stuck in their virtual world, or we're actually guiding everyone to go to their inner world, which is that beautiful heart. Is that what you were asking, dear?
Yeah, that is more clarifying. Thank you. I was
My
confused, but
pleasure.
now I understand better.
So yeah, thanks for that question. I find this fascinating. This notion that it's almost the more we see progress externally, the more we feel a sense of disconnection and fragmentation and maybe frustration. Because our assumption is, as you were saying, Sima, like we've got all of the solutions. In theory, we have all of the technology we need and so on and so forth. Why are we more sad and depressed today? Why are we more disconnected and so on?
Exactly.
And so what I'm hearing is it's because of this fragmentation. We don't feel an integration between what we're seeing and interpreting and our true self that's trying to shine and come forward and so on. Is that and then to your point, the whole AI thing is it bringing up a very interesting concept as well, really helping us to come face to face with, well, what is humanness, what makes us different, and the concept of the heart and so on. So yeah, very powerful.
Yeah. And I just going to add to what you were saying. It's the key is not to fight with ourselves anymore.
Right.
You see, so if I see myself, if I can, like in my job, what I do is like I try to help my clients to understand their thoughts and their feelings. So if they've been suppressing and fighting with their guilt, so that's why they become these fights, or these thoughts becomes like a cloud between me and myself, between my mind and my heart, right? So, but if I just be able to love those things about myself. There's nothing about humanity. Baha'u'llah, God did not create us. There's nothing about us bad. It only becomes bad when we ignore it, when we don't want to get to know it. Like guilt, for example. A lot of people avoid guilt. And because they avoid guilt, guilt will not go anywhere. It sits there until you give attention to it. Because we're born with these feelings, friends. No one gives me guilt. No one gives me shame. No one gives me happiness. No one gives me sadness. I was born with these feelings. But people, society, constantly program us. My thoughts comes from external world. My mind, when I came as a child in this world, my mind was fully blank. It was ready to get program which matches my heart's program. It was ready to see love, to see compassion, to see all those beautiful virtues. So I will go to my heart and say, oh, I am kind, I am loving, I am truthful. But when I don't see this, society will program me. Society tells me, oh, you have to go after success, you have to go be this, you have to look pretty, you have to do this, you have to do that. So these programs my mind is full of these programs. So now I need to understand when I grow older, when the prefrontal cortex, our mind, which is developed, we know, around by the age of 25, 26, now it has a job. It needs to it needs to help me to use the power of will. The power of will, it's for the mind. Mind has to use this power to be curious, to start thinking, saying, okay, is this real? What is reality? What is the truth? If what am I facing? Is what I see outside is the truth, or what I feel is the truth? So when there is a guidance there, when these young people, like I always tell my friends, children classes are the best place for the children to be, because that's where they actually find who they are. They get connected to the writings, they get connected to the true self, and they grow up to become who she is. There's safety there, there's love there, there's no judgment. They listen to the beautiful stories, which is connect them to their heart. But if if the children don't go to the children class, there is still a hope. They can go to the junior youth group. At that junior youth group, they learn to serve. They learn to start having all those thoughts are okay. What do they get? They get to be able to express themselves the way they want to. But at the end of each book, they also serve. Service, we know through science, it actually creates brain cells. Every time they do voluntary, every time they do service, they get tons of neural brains, and their brains expand. And that's another part of beautiful thing between science and religion. And we go forward to when they become youth and 15, 16 years old, and how wonderful that is when they actually follow the path and they can become who they truly are, exactly what Baha'u'llah says in all those beautiful hidden words.
Sima, maybe just, oh, I hear myself.
I'm sorry, sir.
No, it's okay.
Question?
Thank you. 5 inner senses.
Mhm.
I was curious about your understanding of the common faculty. If you want to elaborate a bit more on that
Sure.
from a Baha'i perspective, what would that be?
Mhm.
The soul, the spirit, something else? How do
Oh,
you
okay,
understand
sure.
that?
From what I've learned at Inner Peace, it's common faculty. We call it as a translator. It has to translate the external world and bring it to the inner world. So it works for both worlds, between this world and the next world. So that's how I see that common faculty. So, for example, if I see a beautiful flower, I don't know what the beauty is, and the flower doesn't even know it's beautiful. But the common faculty translates this and brings it here and says, "Ah, it's so beautiful." So it gives me a thought. I imagine it, and it gives me a thought, and through the thought, I understand that it's a beautiful flower, and it goes to the long-term memory. So that's how I see it. But please go ahead and share your thoughts.
Well, I mean, that's a big conversation. I don't want to monopolize it. For me, that speaks to the differentiation between um, mankind and the animal kingdom. I think that's sort of,
Yeah, absolutely.
I would assume it's like this, the soul, the spirit, the ability yeah, to make sense of something, right? What you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, exactly.
In the comments slash chat, there was a question which you were touching on a bit, but how do we actually change? How do we actually move into the inner world? What are
Beautiful.
ways that we can explore
Yeah,
that
of
more?
course. That's a beautiful question. Okay. So to go to the inner world, it's we have something called meditation, reflection, all this, right? So remember, when you are happy, when everything goes well, you're already in the inner world. But as soon as the negative thought comes and or negative feeling comes, and instead of focusing on the external world, and instead of focusing on, oh, so and so did this, or I'm not going to do this because I'm tired, or I'm not going to go there because it's someone's bothering me. All those, whatever negative thoughts and negative feeling comes, the first thing, friends, you do, you close your eyes, you allow those thoughts comes forward. You don't fight them. If it either is a person or a job or anything, you just close your eyes. Allow those thoughts comes forward. When you see yourself witnessing those thoughts, you realize that you have thoughts, but you're not your thoughts. You have feelings, but you're not your feelings. I have hand, but I'm not my hand. I have all these things that Baha'u'llah has given me to use it in this world to get to know myself, to get to my inner world, to find my true self. One of those tools are my thoughts and my feelings. Friends, if I take away your thoughts and your feelings, how would you read the prayers? How would you communicate? We have our thoughts and our feelings to understand this world and the inner world. So now, if the negative thought comes, remember again, negative thoughts is the result of the hormones that was made when I was a child, and those thoughts were like I did not understand them. Let's say, for example, the negative thoughts like I'm tired, I don't want to do anything. This thought tells the midbrain, as soon as that thought comes, I'm going to go to a neuroscience a little. When that thought comes and says, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything, remember, our brain doesn't analyze it. It sees it as a danger. It doesn't look at that, oh, you're tired, and tiredness is a feeling. I'm tired. I know I can see myself tired. Oh, what do I do when I'm tired? I just go cup of tea or, relax. But when I fight with my tiredness, that's where the brain starts saying, danger, danger, danger. I go back to when I was 2 years old or when I was 10 years old, when I was stuck in my virtual mind. Now my brain sees it a different way. My brain says, you're in danger. If you're tired, you're in danger. Go, lie down. Don't talk to anybody. Don't see anybody. Because it's called rumination, right? One negative thought has to support another negative thoughts, right? So as soon as this thought comes, close your eyes, take a deep breath, see yourself tired, and say, oh, thank you very much for telling me I'm tired. I heard what you said. You're free to go. Because your thought is a messenger, just like a mailman. What does the mailman do? It brings the mail to us, right? And when you get the mail, do you bring the mailman inside? You say thank you to mailman, and mailman goes home. And whenever you have a minute, you open the mail. Some letters have messages that's good, some messages are not good, some messages are still go right away, go to spam, or you delete them. If you learn to do this automatically, every time the negative thought comes, close your eyes. Don't push your negative thoughts. Friends, the best thing to do is allow that negative thoughts come forward and just say thank you to it. Say thank you. Tapping, which is we do that in my job. We do a lot of tapping. So tapping, it actually it's EMDR, and there's a way of the new method of therapy. So you can do that to yourself. Like, you can close your eyes and start seeing the thoughts, start tapping, and just in your head, don't use your word, don't use your mouth. In your head, say, thank you very much. I heard you. Your job, just, we want to say thank you to our thoughts, because this is the power of your inner world. This is the power of your heart. You say thank you, and then you tell him that its job is over. And then the next thing to do is to say I am not in danger. See, thank you, your job is over. I'm not in danger. I am okay to feel my feelings now. I'm 15 years old, I'm 20 years old, I'm 50-year-old, I'm 60-year-old, I'm a 90-year-old. I can feel guilt. I can feel shame. I can feel all those feelings that I wasn't able to understand when I was a child. I can feel all of them. It's okay. I'm not in danger. So when you say that to your brain, your mind, all of a sudden you see, oh, it feels like you dropped 200 pounds. You become so light, and then you can get up and do whatever you like. But the key is to be thankful. And thankfulness, we have a lot of prayers of thankfulness prayers. Just make sure you close your eyes, you tap your mind, and say, thank you very much for serving me. Our thoughts are serving us, right? Our feelings are serving us. And then you send them free. And sometimes, I just want to touch this part too. Sometimes it's a thought that we say thank you, but sometimes the feeling that we feel, like we feel guilt somewhere, like we did something wrong, we yelled at our child, or we lied, or we did something. So if I carry this guilt, I'm going to get worse and worse and worse all day, and my brain keeps telling me danger, 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 and cortisol comes up, and I'm flooded in cortisol, right? But sometimes when the feeling comes, and feeling is stronger than a thought, focus on where the feelings, it's overwhelming you. Just focus on your body. Say, okay, the guilt has arrived. Where is guilt? Most women that I work with, the guilt is in their stomach or their heart. Man is in their throat. So just focus, okay, where is guilt? And then find guilt. When you find it in your body, put your hands wherever you feel it, close your eyes, and allow the guilt to come and say hi to you. Keep breathing and let it out. Allow the guilt come. It wants to say, okay, I'm here, so thank you, you're here. Breathing out. Bring it up your throat, goes to your face, and will leave your system. Because this is the energy we always spend as a child when we did not understand guilt, shame, fear, all those feelings. Tons of energy came to our system and get stuck somewhere. So at this age, when we're age of maturity, 15 and older, we can recognize all these feelings and we can just release all of them. We can become friend with our thoughts and we can release all that energy.
I just see in the chat, I don't know what's with my volume. Someone was asking about regrets.
Oh yeah, sure. Regret is also feeling, right? I love regret. It's one of my favorites. Regret, shame, guilt, these are all telling me. But if I get stuck to regret, it's the beginning of the depression in older people, right? Because it takes me back to the past. I've done something wrong in the past and I'm stuck there. So no problem. When the regret comes, close your eyes, take a deep breath. First, try to think if the regret it's in the head, it's a thought that tells you, oh, Sima, you did something bad. You should not have done that. Or maybe you were supposed to go somewhere and you didn't go. Now you regret it. Maybe a study you're supposed to go. Whatever the regret is, right? Focus if it's a thought or if it's a feeling. Because remember I said these two needs to become friends with each other. They're not supposed to suppress one another or fight with each other. We're supposed to be make them friends, unite them together, right? So the thought comes for the first thing. Remember what Abdul Baha says: when a thought of war comes, oppose it with a stronger thought of peace. So now we want to do that. We're going to say, okay, the thought of regret, it's not a happy thought. So I need to replace it with a beautiful thought, right? It comes and says, oh, you should not have done that. I'm like, thank you very much for telling me. You're a good servant. You've served me all my life. Your eyes closed. You say, thank you. You served me. Your job is over. Tell the thought, your job is over. And after you said your job is over, you're going to say, I am okay to feel my feelings. We need to feel the regret. So now, where is regret? Now you say, you deal with the thought, and then you say, okay, where is this regret? Where is it hitting me? Is it hitting me in my chest, my throat, my shoulder, my back? Where is it? Focus on where the regret is. When you find it, keep reading it. Focusing on that area, put all your attention to that area that the regret is sitting. Just say, okay, you're in my chest. You're free to go. I love you. You're always going to be with me. Are we going to see ourselves without regret for the rest of our lives? No. We're always going to have regret. We're always going to have shame. We're always going to have guilt, fear. All these feelings are going to be with us to the moment the last breath we take. But we need to understand them. We need to love them. We need to learn to work with them, not suppress them. Let the regret come up. Release it. Find where it is.
I'd like to make a comment and just get your thoughts on this to see if I'm on the right track. When I experience anxiety, perhaps because I feel somebody's done something to me, for example, and I'm feeling down or upset or maybe even anger. Those are thoughts that I think I created. I know I created them, but I find when I get into those conditions, if I pray sincerely,
Mhm.
with focus, asking to remove those thoughts.
Mhm. Mhm.
Within a short period of time, all those thoughts are gone.
Mhm.
And I see the maybe the people that I think created this in a whole different light.
Mhm. That's beautiful.
But is this what we're talking about?
Oh, okay.
Because
Mhm.
um, nothing has changed. I've changed.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
what's changed. The situation hasn't changed.
Mhm.
My view's changed.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's yeah, this is beautiful. So what works, continue doing it. That's beautiful. Because this works for you. You pray sincerely and removes those thoughts, right? But the thing is, if you also become friends with those thoughts, don't fight them, that's also a form of a prayer. You see, when those thoughts comes, let's say for example, you get a feeling of an anxiety. Anxiety is the future, depression is past. Something about future it makes you anxious. So those anxious, we know it's hormones, right? Most of the time it's cortisol. So you become anxious. Let's say someone's done something. We know you're in external world. We know because you think someone did to you, so you become anxious about the future, about whatever is going to happen in tomorrow. So you the reason those thought comes to you because the first initial thought was about the external world. Someone you thought someone gave you this, right? So but now at that moment when you close your eyes before you even to go to the prayers, you close your eyes, you see that person, you look at them and you see them and say, okay, what is so ugly about this person? Is it his eyes? Is it his face? Is it his body? When our eyes close and we bring that picture, remember the five inner senses? Abdul Baha says we have imagination, we have thoughts. First was a thought came in, and now be imagining it. The imagination is showing me this man is like angry man in my head. I look at him and I stare at him. I keep staring and staring, and it's oh, the thought is going. It vanishes. The picture is gone. Now I can go say prayers. When the thought is gone, I am my inner world because the prayer is for this. It's a food for the soul. But if my mind is already angry with the people and I'm anxious, what you did is beautiful. So remove the thoughts. But if the situation keeps happening with someone else and the anxiety comes back, we were going to become friends with an anxiety. I'm going to love my anxiety. I don't have to fight with my anxiety. I allow it to come. I said, oh, you arrived? Okay, let me see if my anxiety shows up as a person, as a job, as a traveling, as a. I had someone who wanted to travel and they were so afraid of flying. He couldn't even go get in thinking of flying. It wasn't the airplane he was scared of. It was what was in his inner world. So I took him to the airplane with his inner world. He had an accident. He died in an accident. He finished. Like he went and died and was over. And then we removed the pictures. Now he's traveling all over the world. Within like half an hour, it was gone and it's finished. Because these thoughts are not going to go away. They're going to show up in a different way. But when we become friends with those thoughts, with those feelings, it's beautiful. What you said is beautiful, and those, of course. But remember, for me, prayers is when I am connected with my soul. It's prayers. It's food for the soul. It's my conversation with Baha'u'llah. And but if I am angry, if I have all this external world, it's here, and my virtual mind is fighting, I can't get into my inner world. I'm going to give you another example. Let's say, for example, you want to make a beautiful pasta with a lot of tomatoes and all these pastas and garlic. So you go in the kitchen. All the stuffs are flying in the kitchen. All the utensils are flying in the kitchen. You have everything in there that you're exposed, but you can't cook it. Like you can't even grab the knife or anything. But when everything comes down on the aisle, on the table, you see, oh, that's where the tomato is. Oh, that's where the salt is. Now you can see everything properly in their own places, and then you can make a beautiful dish. So this is what I'm talking about. Before we get into that environment, first we have to calm the brain. Make sure the brain is in right space. It's place, sorry, the mind.
Molly. Molly, are you, did you want to go?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, you, Molly.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I just had a recent experience. Uh, just before bedtime, I started to get thoughts of I should have been more kind. I should have been more understanding about certain situations, and it really unnerved me. And then I came to a prayer, and as soon as I said this prayer, it completely disappeared, my thoughts. And it's, oh God, refresh and gladden my spirit, purify my heart, illumine my powers. I lay all my affairs in thy hand. Thou art my guide and my refuge. I will no longer be sorrowful and grieved. I will be a happy and joyful being. O God, I will no longer be full of anxiety. No, I let trouble harass me. I will not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. O God, thou art more friend to me than I am to myself, O Lord. And it was so perfect, so beautiful that I was so tranquil after that. Leave it in God's hands.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
And that was wonderful.
It's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing, Molly. There's a few more comments in the chat. So one was, I think, building on the previous, how do we overcome our bad feelings, especially when someone is always hurting us?
Okay, so this is a very good question. I have to tell you this, surprise, surprise, no one's hurting you. No one in this world hurt us. Look at Abdul Baha. He's the best example, right? We always look at him. So if people hurt us, why he will never get hurt? The fact that I've told you that at the beginning, we are born with our feelings. They will awaken your feelings. If we want to understand the oneness of humanity, we need to understand we all carry these feelings. We all have guilt, shame, regret, sadness, anger, good feelings as well, like kind, love, and all that. But some of these feelings, let's say when the mind and the heart separates, when the heart closes its gate, and now I'm operating only with my mind, as I said before, we become AI. Now I have to have love. I have to have understanding, because mind copies the heart, doesn't know it, but it copies, because now it will it will start making up stories for me that, oh, love would be a romantic love, and happiness would be all those dopamine that we have to, like, happiness becomes a desire, like a momentarily desire, which we know about dopamine, right? When the dopamine goes up, serotonin goes down, right? So we all know that. So when you think someone hurts you, remember that person did not hurt you. Some feelings is awakening in you. Focus on those feelings. Find out, where do you feel this hurt? Where do you feel this pain? Let's say, for example, someone lied to me or cheated on me, or something really bad. So find, where does your body, it's aching a lot. Where do you feel it? When you find it, the next step is to see yourself in that situation. This is what I called meeting the inner child. You see, in my job, I do 3 unity. The first unity I do, I unite the right and the left hemisphere of the brain. When these two become united, which I talked about it right now, and I give you a couple of ways of doing that, your thoughts and your feelings. The second one is when the mind becomes calm and collected, and the mind is no longer fighting with anything, and it sees that, oh, there's no thoughts here. Now I have to take that mind to meet the inner child, which is, I call this meeting, I call the true love. You see, we're born to find our true self. We're born to find out what Baha'u'llah has created. Baha'u'llah it's a light of the truth, and Bob is the gate of the truth. So he actually opened the door to our heart. So I believe, from this is my understanding, please don't quote me or anything, but I think that is why we call this era of the truth, because now we need to get into the inner world. The external world, it's show. So for me, if I go to my inner world, I realize that everyone else there is exactly the way I am. It's exactly, I will become a mirror of everyone. That's why, the heart becomes a mirror, the mind becomes a mirror, right? And also remember, when you feel someone has hurt you, that person is stronger in your inner world, not outside. I'm going to explain this in a second. Sima, myself, I'm the queen of my castle. This is my world. No one is in my inner world is stronger than me. No mother, no father, no child, no one. The only person is stronger in my inner world is Baha'u'llah. He is the king of my castle, and I am with him. But if I go scan my heart, my husband is not there, my child is not there, my mom is not there, my dad is, no one is there. Because they have to find their own inner world. They have to find their own heart. But if you feel someone hurt you, because that person in your inner world is stronger than you. So you need to go face that person within your inner world. We can't go fight with people outside, right? They're going to get us and put us in jail. But your inner world, you're the queen. You are the queen of your inner world, my friends. No one tells the queen what to do. When you gain that kingdom, you're sitting there, as is exactly what Baha'u'llah says in the Hidden One, number 13. Turn thy sight unto thyself, that thou mayest find me standing within thee, mighty, powerful, and self-subsisting. So when I find myself, that he said, I created you rich, noble, made of the clay of love, essence of knowledge, and this is who he created. So when I find that true self, through me, within my inner world, and I see myself as a queen, the queen has family members, but none of them are going to rule the country that I am the queen of. They have to find their own countries. They have to be different. That's why when we become one within our inner world, when we become the queen of this, we love everybody. I'm a very kind, loving queen. I love everyone, but no one tells me what to do. At night, I turn the light and say, go to bed. Everyone's go to bed. Because I have the strength within me. I don't have the strength outside. You know that the short obligatory prayer? I bear witness, oh my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness. This powerlessness is the external powerlessness, right? I am powerless. I don't know what's going to happen to me in a second. But within my inner world, if I'm connected to him, his power will lift me up.
I'll take one more question, comment here. Yeah, in the chat, I find that older folks experience more anxiety attacks, even though they pray regularly.
Exactly.
How to assist them is the question.
That's a beautiful question. Yes, exactly. This anxiety, we need to know this is just hormones, right? So what has happened through their lives? As I was mentioning to this gentleman, was saying that he said the prayers and it was removed, which is beautiful. but the anxiety will not go away. We need to help these people. If there are, if they can talk, if they are capable of having sessions, there's a lot of life coaches out there, specialists. But for now, what you can do is you can help them to the one what I just showed you, to make sure they understand their thoughts and they don't fight it, and also help them to understand their feelings. This an anxiety because it's the anxiety, as I said, is about future, fear of future. So they need to close their eyes and they need to allow this fear come forward, because also this related to submissive, right? We need to submit ourselves to God, to Allah. Everything happens to us, it happens for a reason. But when we want to be in control of our external world, unfortunately the anxiety comes. So if you can help them to understand their thoughts and be thankful for their thoughts, and also understand their feelings and release all those energies, tapping will work, breathing deeply will work. Just help them to release this and face their anxiety, and just get them. This usually works. But if they need help, you can contact me. I'll be very happy to see them.
Friends, any other questions or comments?
I do have just going to mention that I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Our Story is One, with your coach for life, Sima Ghodrati. There are some videos. I started it a few weeks ago because of what happened in Iran. A lot of my friends were asking, so I have it in Persian and English. So if you need more information, you can just look at those videos. Our Story is One, with your coach for life, Sima Ghodrati.
Okay, but is that the whole, because I want to put it in the chat, is that the whole name? Our
Yeah, well,
story is,
yeah, it says our story is one, Sima Ghodrati. Well, should come up.
okay, I'll just put it in here. Thank you, Sima.
My
You know,
pleasure.
it's such a timely, obviously timely conversation, and you know the amount of anxiety and stress and depression and so on, as I'm sure you're well aware, and everyone's well aware, it has just been on the rise. And I think my personal reflection is when you look at the writings of Baha'u'llah, the amount of writings from Baha'u'llah and Abdu'l-Baha that focus on detachment from this world are enormous, right?
Oh, of course.
And then we have, you know, the revelation of Buddha, which is also talking so much about detachment and many of the concepts you raise in here. So we have at our disposal a lot of concepts, and then we have methodologies to overcome them, and so on and so forth. Easier said than done. But I love that comment you said about Abdul Baha. Like, can somebody hurt us? Somebody can be the cause of stimulating our thoughts that can convince us that we're being hurt, is my weak understanding of what you said. Some of the greatest people that in history have been the most tormented and the most oppressed. And Al-Baha was the one who said, I was happiest when I was in prison, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so
Yeah,
that's just a good reminder of, you know, the power of our ability to just look at these thoughts and feelings and observe
yeah,
them and not to
exactly.
be judgmental. I mean,
Yeah,
again, easier said than done. We have
yeah,
prayers and we've
yeah,
got
exactly.
service, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
phenomenal.
But the fact is, you're saying not be judgmental. I'm saying that I'm just adding that when the thought comes, let it come. Let it come. Don't suppress it.
Welcome it.
Welcome it, because this is exact. You see, we want to look at the writings of Baha'i faith in a scientific approach. Science right now says that this fight that we have, it's not, it's a virtual fight. It's not real. So the more I'm fighting it within my own mind, the more I am getting sick.
Mm.
Arthritis has been rising. You know, the blood pressure and diabetes. These are all because of those hormones, because of we constantly fighting between our thoughts and our feelings. Just imagine when these two become one. You no longer fight with yourself. You welcome all your thoughts and your feelings. Nothing is bad about us, friends. Nothing. It only becomes bad when you reject it.
Sima, thank you so much.
My pleasure. My
That was
pleasure.
great.
This
And
was
thanks
so
for the
nice.
questions, folks.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So friends, I'm going to stop the recording.